Okay, let me finish talking about our homework. I guess the video probably is better because I was just messing up a little bit with talking about reference in Excel. So basically what I was, where we stopped, where I was cut off, probably, I think it's here. So we finished talking about how to calculate each of these productivity measures, right? And when we move on to the second table, this is talking about Jennifer wants to calculate how many hours are needed for each positions. And each position work, some of them needs more hours, some less times. So basically we go back to this cell. This is the labor hour cell. About in total, this is how many hours everyone worked. And here to calculate labor hours, we want to use the percentage of their labor hours used times this number up here. You can simply type this number here. You can also click on this cell, say go back to refer to this cell. But if you don't put a $sign in there, then it won't be correct. So, you know, in Excel, we always just calculate the first one and we copy the same formula, right? So we can click on it and drag it down. But if we do not put a $sign in this one, then this calculation is using this number, this cell here, and this cell. And move on to the third row is using this cell and down here because it's relative. Therefore, we want to tell Excel, no, we want to always go back to this cell. That's what I'm saying. You want to put a $sign when we're calculating labor hours in between C and 23. So now Excel knows, okay, every time when I am calculating this column, I am using this cell to the left and always go back to this cell up there. So this is what I'm talking about. Sales per labor hour is also using sales here. Divided by the labor hours, right? Because that's what it says. It's asked us to calculate sales per labor hour. So we go back to total sales. And again, we always want to go back to this cell. So use the $sign divided by how many hours each position worked. And that will give us sales per labor hour for this column. Okay, and the last table is asking us, now Jennifer has calculated her productivity standards. She would like to use the standards, right, to develop a labor hours budget for the next week. Therefore, she forecasted the number of guests and she thinks she will have 8,000. Therefore, she want to calculate the labor hour budget, meaning basically how many hours she needs from her guests to work. So now our guest served per labor hour is up here. We have just to calculate this. Guest served per labor hour. We think in each hour, each person in the company, in the restaurant, can serve on average 1.75 guests. So we put this number here, 1.75, drag it down. And these are the number of people we think that will come to the restaurant each day. Therefore, how many hours do our employees have to work is using number of guests that day divided by how many guests we can serve, right? So this is in total how many hours our employees have to work on each day. Okay. Okay. There are a few things about the case 2 and case 3. In case 2, in general, this case is about the restaurant want a higher band, and she has 4 options, and we want to compare which one is the best one. So these are the information about each band, how much that we have to pay to each band, what is the predicted sales on that day with that band. Therefore, the cost percentage is basically your band expenses. So the cost is talking about the band cost, right? Band cost percentage. So it's using this number divided by sales and which gives you a percentage. And also per guest served is talking about basically band cost per guest served, meaning on average to serve these many of guests, on average, how much money have we spent on the band? And we have guest number here. So we use band expense divided by number of guests served. That is your per guest served. These two are the two evaluation of the worthiness of each band. So that after you calculated these, you just need to compare which is it has the lowest cost percentage, which it has the lowest per guest served, which can help you answer this question. Based on cost percentage, which one should Shannon select? Actually, you just need to use this column to answer this question, but this is just another calculation which helps you to evaluate the results. And down here, it's just giving you a different situation, saying that what if we are charging our guests when we are having these different bands, and how will that change the dynamic? So you first basically calculate how much money you will earn by charging a ticket for people to coming in, right? When we have a band. So the cover is how many guests that we have and how much money what's the price of that cover. Then your total sales is your sales from your food and beverage plus the cover that's charged $10 per person, which gives you your total sales. And now the second question is basically asking you to compare the sales and choose the band that you think is the most worthiness. The last one is the one that is about our other expenses. So this is the one asked us to practice where there is part of the cost is a fixed cost, part of our cost is a variable cost. This is basically like consultant fees. So we're talking about this restaurant hired Tina, who is a consultant, who charge a fixed fee for 1,000 per month. So each month it's 1,000 fixed fee here, that's the same. And then we have 1% variable expense each month. Therefore, you use the sales times 1%, which will give you this column. Therefore, you put the fixed part together with the variable part, which will give you your total expense. Your total expense then will help you calculate the cost percentage, because eventually this is the number that we want to calculate down here to answer this first question. We want to know, is it higher than 2.2% or lower than 2.2? Because the manager has decided we cannot spend more than 2.2% total cost percentage for hiring a consultant. Therefore, if this number, this average cost percentage average in the past 6 months is higher than 2.2, then no. If it is lower, then yes. Then last year's average monthly sales for the first 6 months was 80,000. And this year's sale, we want to know if it is more or less. That also is a way for us to evaluate the efficiency of this consultant. So we use this number here, our total sales, compare that with 80,000. Again, if the sales is more, then we want to hire her. If the sales is less, then she's not doing a good job, then we don't hire her. Okay, I hope this solved today's problem. Sorry about the connection, but anyway, I think this is also clear, a clear way for us to explain the homework, and you can always go back to the video, to the recording.